going on out here that really kind of show you what happens when, you know, a breadwinner for a crew goes away. Now, we're all familiar with Lil Durk's case. He's facing federal murder for hire charges for the alleged gunning down of Quando Rondo's cousin Lil Pab in an incident where according to the feds, Lil Durk had a whole bunch of shooters go from Chicago to Los Angeles and do a hit in one of the busiest, most famous tourist districts in the whole country, really. I mean, the murder of FBG Duck, you know, they said they gunned him down in the Gold Coast, one of the most exclusive and luxury shopping districts in the city of Chicago. And as we all know, that ended in the feds cracking down on the O Block 5 or the O Block 6, O Block 7, really, if you count the person that passed away and didn't.
Right. You see what happened, though? We're going to get right into it. But before I continue, you know, this is a video from Trapper Ross. Head over to... What? Yo, I swear, YouTube be unsubscribing you from people, bro. I be hearing about that, but like... Anyways, head over to Traplore, subscribe, drop a like. That's crazy. I know I've been subscribed to this dude since like 2017, bro. On like all my channels. So that was crazy to see.
End up facing justice. But the feds were not playing when it came to gunning people down in these luxury high-end shopping districts. And the murder of Lil Pab went down at the Beverly Center. I mean, not only, you know, it's one thing turning up the luxury shopping districts of Chicago, but in this incident, you got guys flying interstate, okay, waging war, bringing that switch energy from Chicago to Los Angeles, and the feds are not having it, okay? It's really not looking good for Lil Durk. I know a lot of people are really holding out hope for his case. I personally don't think it's looking good. A lot of people don't like to hear me say that, but hey, that's why you follow this channel, because I keep it very real. But what it seems like is happening behind the scenes is that ever since Lil Durk, the head honcho of OTF, has been indicted, it seems that a lot of his crew, a lot of them people that he was propping up, you know, the alleged shooters, the alleged gangsters that he was shouting out in his own songs, again, his own music, that he was shouting out people by name, saying that they're the shooters, they get things done for him. A lot of these guys now, without Lil Durk's support, are having to turn back to the streets and seemingly sell drugs to get by. It's honestly a sad situation. I'm not saying this to disrespect anybody. You know, I know a lot of guys have come from these street situations. They've come from poverty. You know, they come from, you know, institutionalized poverty in Chicago. You know, there's a lot of wider reasons why things are very unfair and why people are forced to do things that they don't want to do and operate outside of the law. But when someone like Lil Durk became a famous superstar, pop star, I don't even want to say superstar rapper. He was a pop star, streaming at the very top of the charts, taking on people like Morgan Wallen and Taylor Swift when it came to numbers. Right. That really is an opportunity to change everybody's lives. But what it seems like is that Lil Durk has probably got so much money tied up, he might have assets frozen by the feds. He's certainly going to have some of the highest lawyer fees known to man. It seems like a lot of that support has gone away. Now, I think it is quite unfortunate because I think a lot of guys that Lil Durk had around him, he blessed them with opportunities and he blessed them with enough clout to essentially make their own way in this game and stay out of the streets. But what it seems like is that since Lil Durk has gone away, a lot of guys have unfortunately, you know, fallen into their old habits and ended up doing some very, unfortunately, negative things.
Okay, here what it is. Let me just chime in real quick. Here's what I think it is. Half them people, 90% of those people didn't have what it takes for whatever reason. They didn't have the star power. They didn't have the drive. They didn't have whatever. Do your homework on that. They didn't have it to become a superstar like Durk, right? So Durk put them on. Now they on. What are they looking to do? Ride that wave, ride his coattail. When Durk get off, or now he in prison, they don't have the potential or the skill set or the discipline to go do something. So yeah, he may have put them in a position, but they wasn't thinking about doing something with it. Cause Durk, life easy, life good, life nice, right? Now life not that nice, and they in the position they in, and that's just how it goes, bro. So that's what I think happened there.
That have led to people's lives essentially being thrown away. So if you follow the channel closely, you'll see that I did an update yesterday on this case. Okay, this is the case of OTF Booner, who just got locked up for a murder. Now, what I want to impress on you is the details of this were crazy. We broke this down yesterday. Okay, he was locked up for murder, home invasion, kidnapping, aggravated assault, and he'd allegedly broken into a man's home, duct taped him, searching for property, driving him to a church parking lot before fatally shooting him 17 times and killing him, okay? A lot of people were wondering what the hell this was all about. This seems super random. This isn't somebody that's known in the Chicago streets, and this went down in a whole different state, okay? This went down in a whole different state, a whole different city. People saying it was Gwinnett County, and they do not play. They got the death penalty. They got serious consequences for stuff like this. But what's actually come out allegedly, okay, and look, I can't vouch for the credibility of this. This is from Reddit, okay? People say I get my information from Reddit, and they ain't no secret. I ain't passing this information on as my own. But this is probably the most viral post going around in Reddit today on Chiracology about the situation. And what people are saying in this comment is that there's more backstory to this incident, and Boona essentially was back in the drug game. So this comment says that Boona owed Ozzy, who was the victim in the incident in the case that we just saw. You know what I'm saying? That's something we get into in a minute. But yeah, I mean, people basically saying that this gentleman, Ozzy, or Oz, I'm not totally sure, he apparently owed him for £250. Oz was asking around for dudes to get his money back, and word got back to Boona. Okay, so apparently he'd been fronted drugs by this individual. Word got back to Boona that he was trying to get his money back. So Boona acted like he was going to pay back Oz, and so Oz went to meet him at Waffle House and got into Boona's car. Boona backed him, tied his hands together, and took him to Ozzy's crib and robbed it, and then killed him in the worst way. Because Doody told him that Ozzy was looking for him. Ozzy posted like 12 bags the night before, so Boona made his move and only left with £250 worth $1,200 and $3,000 in cash. So just to give you a little bit more context, again, this is just what people are saying on Reddit.
What crash outs, bro? Like, what are we talking about? That is absolutely insane, bro. For $1,200 and $3,000 in cash? So what, 4.2? You take a man's life and you risk the rest of your own life for $4,200?
Stop it. Get some help.
You know?
Okay, don't shoot the messenger, all right? This is just what people are saying. He's saying that Doody Lowe told him, another OTF artist who obviously, as we know, got into some trouble recently, that Ozzy was looking for him and that Ozzy had posted 12 bags. I guess, I don't know whether that's 12 bags like he's putting bags on people, or whether it's 12 bags saying, look, I got a lot of work in the crib. You know, there's a lot of dope around me. Insane. And, you know, allegedly, Boona went there to try and get those drugs, didn't end up getting it, only ended up leaving with £250 worth $1,200 and $3,000 in cash. All right. So a lot of people in the comments are basically saying that this is a real crash out mission and, you know, Boona really has made a bad decision. People saying, Boona, pick one. Okay. Option 1, ignore Ozzy and get on with your life. 2, just pay him back. Or 3, you can rob and murk him for £250 and $3,000 cash, but you're only free for a month and you have to spend the rest of your life in prison with no possibility of parole.
Right.
People saying, Boona, pick 3. People saying he could have just bought a zip if he couldn't afford the £2. All right. People saying he probably had that £250 fronted to him, and you know what I'm saying, this doesn't really make sense. And OWD on that, and owed on that. No plug is going to give you extra work on top of that when you still owe them for 4 zips.
Right.
People saying he probably didn't even have the money for the zip, and he knew that he had a goofy, so he got over on him and killed the guy. Right. People saying, look, how is this guy doing a whole aggravated kidnapping, aggravated robbery, and murder one in a state that still has the 9 laws? Bro's in a lot of trouble. Okay. Them essays he get locked up with, about to be on his ass.
Facts. He deleted one of their members for no reason, bro. What? Bro, what? For $3,000 cash and $1,200 in bud? Bro, what? Bro, I could point you to freshmen in college with more bud than that in their dorm rooms, bro. What are you talking about? You delete somebody for that? What?
Saying that the Hispanic gangsters, okay, are not going to be feeling this. And when he gets to prison, when he gets to jail, it's going to be serious. This guy tells a whole story about basically Hispanic gangsters in prison that he met. They pulled out knives that look like a sword. They got all kinds of knives and stuff in there. You don't want to be playing with them, okay? It's a crazy story, all right? It is actually wild. People saying here he must have blown through the Durk stimulus and was out here messed up, okay? People saying he deserves what's coming. All right, people saying, here we go with the rumors. I wonder what you're going to do to puzzle this together. Just because this Instagram page said it's true, it doesn't necessarily mean it's true, but it is an interesting story, okay? And essentially, it gives a theory for the motive, okay? That doesn't necessarily mean anything. But what is interesting, okay, this isn't the only person from OTF that's unfortunately just caught a serious case out here trying to make some money. Now, if you remember, OTF Boona, okay, that's one person, but there's another person with a bit of a similar sounding name. Booney Mo, okay, another person who's been affiliated with OTF for a long time. He also has ended up catching a case. Now with him, if you remember, this is a guy who was shouted out in a very hot, very incriminating verse by Lil Durk. There's a clip of him rapping this freestyle that was going around for a long time. You might have seen this in one of my videos. People saying this is Durk snitching on himself. A lot of people say this is...
Nah. Of course he snitched on himself. Of course.
It's him snitching on himself for the murder of FBG Cash. And Booney Mo, in this video, mentioned in this video, this really wasn't a good look, okay? And if this was the energy that was being put out when Lil Durk was on, when he was having his run, you can't imagine the sort of energy that would have been going on in the streets after the money dried up.
Have your gun for them, you better have your gun for me. Better have your gun for Booney. Better have your gun for C. You don't believe me, you gonna see. You gonna end up by that tree.
know that we did it.
Man, I got my gun for Boone. They call him Chief. Man, we should have killed him soon, cause he a thief.
So he got his gun for Booner, but have your gun for Booney, all of that stuff now. But he has also been arrested. So this is also going around Chiracology today. Booney Mo's arrested a month ago.
There's Booney right there. What up, Booney? That's crazy. You know what? I'm gonna give him a review at the end.
Was for possession of cocaine with intent to distribute in Nebraska, right? You guys going all over America getting busy trying to get the bag while the Lil Durk stimulus dried up. It's very unfortunate. It's no disrespect, but these are the facts. This is what's going on, man. You guys were flying on private jets 1 minute with Lil Durk, and unfortunately, because of this situation, all right, Lil Durk maybe he hasn't got the support to give. Okay, they're saying it looks like he was sentenced to 7 to 15 years, but he will be eligible for parole in 2028 after serving 3 years out of the maximum for 7. People are saying, damn, you got 7 to 15 years for just under 10 grams. And they're basically saying, look, it's different in all these different states, man. Some states take it more serious than others. Okay. People are saying, look, they're giving him 7 years for a 1/4 ounce of coke. I live in Colorado. If you have less than 4 grams, it's not even a felony. But it's the intent to sell, how it's bagged up. Right, and it's saying that's one of them states where drugs are everywhere, and that's why it's different the further you get from the borders. You're basically spoiled out there, and you'll be playing the I'm a user card heavy, right? All you AZ, CO, NV, and NM, and Texas dudes got it super easily on the hustling side, but clearly not that easy. People are saying, what the hell was he doing in Nebraska? He must have been getting the pack off. Okay, hey, people are saying everything Smirk said in his raps about his guys is true. Booney Mo be serving, and Booner a crash out, okay? And Chief Work every day is turkey season, all right? We're finna hear people saying they're gonna hear about Work next being caught with 20 bricks in a truck, okay? It's very, very unfortunate. People saying the variation in the laws between different states is crazy. Okay. Now, look, I don't want to put too many extras on it. Okay. But really, we are seeing the fall of OTF. And there was another viral clip going around recently. Now, look, this guy, okay, Lil Zay Osama, he hopped on No Jumper. He made a whole bunch of wild statements, and he hopped on afterwards talking about 5 people died about them watches. He has been talking a whole lot. Okay. A lot of people aren't happy with what Lil Zay Osama's been putting out there. But really, he's also been dishing dirt on other people in Durk's circle. He's been saying other people that were close to Durk. There's a very infamous figure, Izu, who was one of Lil Durk's right-hand men when it came to this music stuff. He is also a rapper of his own. He had that legendary song with King Von, Beat That Body. They both beat bodies, okay? They both had promising rap careers. But according to Lil Zay Osama, Bezu's struggling too. Now, you know, who knows how true this is? He's been on a lot of people's cases, but he put it out there, and this was going viral from the Academics interview that he did afterwards as well, where he basically dissed Bezu. I mean, he'd been dissing Bezu's whole gang, but this comment also got a lot of people hot.
Zoo a good nigga, though, for real. Zoo a good nigga. But he back in the trenches fucked up wearing white beaters all day. Yeah, I mean, that's just what it is. He ain't do the right thing with the little money he was getting, man.
Hey, what?
Hey, so look, Academics laughing about it. I ain't laughing about it. It definitely isn't a laughing matter. Now, who knows if that's true?
Hey, nah. That was funny, dog. That was funny.
Okay, who knows how true that is? But Zay is saying, THF Zoo, he back in the trenches. He back in the situation that he was in before Durk was helping him out. And look, that really is just sad to hear, okay? I think this situation with Lil Durk obviously has...
No, that part ain't funny. But back in the trenches in his wife beaters? Damn, bro.
Wide-reaching impacts. It seems like a lot of lives have been destroyed. Look, we've all got sympathy for Lil Durk losing King Von. He's lost so many people to the streets. There was clearly a lot of pressure for him to slide for Von. He's the breadwinner. He's got all of these demons, these killers around him, looking up to him, looking for the bag, looking for the go, looking for the green light. You know, we're going to see what happens at trial, but if these allegations are true, it is unfortunate. It seems that Lil Durk didn't really have the foresight. And I think a lot of guys are going to unfortunately realize the hard way that, you know, when you had made it through the door, okay,
you stay out there, you stay out there, you stay out there, you stay out there, bro. I'm going to wrap that right there, and I'm going to just give my 2 cents now. Like, bro, yeah, you make it through the door, you stay on the other side. What you doing? There's not a swivel, you know what I mean? Like, what? There's not one of them 360 doors. You get through, you stay through, bro. What? And why it's funny? Because of the situation, kind of, right? So these dudes had all opportunity to just move on with their life. They're making millions of dollars. Like he said, Durk put them in positions where each of them could have their own funnel of income. Each and every one of them could have, in the right room, just network. But they probably weren't. They probably was rolling a doobie up and just chilling, smoking, getting high, talking about shorties and this, that, and the third, and just not noticing life in front of them and staying with the street mentality, bro. The street mentality is not cool, bro. If you're born in the street, you're born in the ghetto, you're born in the slums, it ain't cool to stay there just because you want to stay there and be a part of it. The only reason I could see it making sense staying there is if you're an activist of sorts and you want to make change from within. But other than that,